What's up everyone and welcome to a new video, and today is a very exciting day because we're seeing brand new gameplay of Resident Evil Village. The magazine Game Informer has a world exclusive where they are going to cover Resident Evil Village, and in that issue they will cover extensively the game, and to promote that issue they have published a trailer with some new gameplay snips on their website. So check out the link in the description below if you want to see that full trailer for the magazines. And today what we're going to do is we're going to analyze these new gameplay scenes in this video, and we're going to have a closer look at what actually is happening in these new scenes that we can see.
Yeah, I just want to say that all these gameplay snippets we're going to see are in the village, so probably they're all from the beginning of the game. And in this first footage we're inside someone's house. If you look around you can see something happened here. There's flour on the floor, there's broken glass, and actually we can see there's a moving shadow on the right side of this gameplay clip.
That's right, so if you have a look over here, somebody is moving in the corner of this room, so it looks like Ethan is going to face an enemy in this home. And it really looks to me, David, the people who lived here have suddenly been attacked by somebody, and perhaps it's this werewolf man over here, it's a werewolf man over here, or a lichen or something like that. And that is why you see such a mess over here. And however, that's not where it stops, because we can see some other interesting things in this gameplay snip, right, David?
Yes, there's like this big stove, so it must have been a big family. No, but really, if you look to the left, there are some pictures hanging on the wall, and if you look closely, I think we're gonna see some familiar characters.
Absolutely. So what we're seeing over here is obviously, like we discussed in one of our previous videos, this is a portrait of Mother Miranda, one of the key characters, bosses of the game that we're going to expect in Resident Evil Village. And perhaps these are also depictions of Mother Miranda. And Mother Miranda is really the figure that is being, so to say, praised by the villagers. She is the mother of these villagers and they are following her. So that is already what we can learn from this tiny little gameplay snippet. And I just want to say, David, looks absolutely amazing to me.
Yes, and I really think this will be very Resident Evil-like, and if you turn around the corner you'll probably see some enemy eating whoever has been living here.
Then moving on to the next shot, we're seeing here Ethan is sort of being attacked by this lichen. It looks to me that if they come too close to you, they may attack you and it can be an instant death. I'm not sure.
Yes, he could also very well be defending himself, so you're getting another shot because they put some extra focus on the defending gameplay compared to Resident Evil 7. So it could very well be we're surviving this, in my opinion.
Yeah, could also definitely be the case. And I also want to say that it is interesting to see, it looks like this particular enemy has a self-made mace or club on his back. He doesn't take it out immediately, so it might very well be, depending on the interaction that you have with him, that he will eventually just take out his mace or his club, sort of similar to how the enemies in Resident Evil 4 did, for example. So, and then moving on to the next gameplay scene, we can see Ethan walking through the graveyard over here. It's the graveyard in the village that we already were aware of, because David, we can also see this location on the map that we discussed in our other video, right?
Yes, definitely. Here this statue is the Maiden of War we see on the map. We know he's looking straight to the gate that's leading towards the castle. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff to see here, including like this little cabin on the right. I'm not sure what it is.
Yes, this little cabin is also interesting to me because it looks like this cabin has some significance, but we cannot really tell what it is. Like, is it some place to preach for the villagers, to Mother Miranda, or is it something else? Can Ethan interact with it? We're not really sure, but it definitely looks like it has some significance in the gameplay or something like that. And another interesting thing that we can see over here is that here you have basically a sign that says Castle Dimitrescu. So if you weren't sure, that's definitely the way to Castle Dimitrescu. We can now see here Ethan walking with the sniper of the game, and he is basically zooming in and looking at some werewolves.
This definitely still looks to be in a village, and it also shows these stone doors that you're going through. You probably already opened these before. Another thing we're seeing here is the sniper rifle with 4 bullets in it.
Indeed, and it looks like Ethan is really backtracking because he probably opened this door before and is now moving back. And it's nice to see that then some other enemies seem to appear on his way back. Then moving on, we can see this shot over here. And this shot is also very interesting to me. And why is that? That is because we can see these werewolves over here sitting on the roofs of the village. And it looks like they are really waiting there to ambush Ethan. They're really waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah, for me it really shows that the village is like a place where you should be careful where you're going, but also that they're probably going to offer you multiple ways to deal with these enemies. You can probably sneak around them or just choose to take them head on. But that's probably not a wise thing, like you said, because they're probably stronger impacts.
We also have a few great pieces of art that we can see on that Game Informer website. One of these pieces of art is of this giant that we have already seen in other gameplay trailers of the game.
Yeah, it really shows that they're having a clear idea what they wanted to do with this game. Of course, it looks really terrifying and awesome.
Then in the next shot, which is very interesting because we can actually tell a lot about what is happening in this screenshot by just analyzing it a little bit closer. Because what are all the things that we can see over here?
Yeah, this is also a location we've seen multiple times. This is a ceremony site which we also seen on the map. That's a little bit left from on the left from the village. So probably the gate on the right will go towards the village. Actually, it's really interesting that we're seeing already one of our favorite characters sitting there.
Absolutely. It's the Duke again. We can see him over here sitting in his little shop, and he's about to sell Ethan some herbs, some medicine, some guns. So it looks like he has a lot in his store. He looks very wealthy himself as well, I would say. And definitely it's nice to see the Duke again in this screenshot. And it's cool to see that he basically can appear everywhere, right? Just like the merchant from Resident Evil 4. He's really channeling the merchant from Resident Evil 4.
Kind of like a sort of safe haven for the player. We've seen all these locations where you will appear that look really calm and secluded, and for me it proves it with the typewriter that is on the little desk. If you zoom in a little bit, we can probably use this to save our progress.
That's right, you see here a little typewriter. And does that mean that the typewriter returns again and that we can use that to save our game? And so if you remember from Resident Evil 7, we didn't have the typewriter over there. Instead, we had the tape recorder. And if you played on the higher difficulty modes, you had to gather these tapes that you could then use to save your progress. So on the higher difficulty modes, you actually had limited saves. And it looks like this makes a return in Resident Evil 8. So probably you can use this on the higher difficulty modes and that you only have these limited saves, just like in the original Resident Evil. And so it looks like this is indeed, like you said, David, this is the pathway from the village. And then going here through the ceremony site, you can probably here go to the Valley of the Kings that we have seen already on the map, and even in some very small footage of the game itself. And then over here you can probably go to a different location, which is either the Sluice Gate or Morose Reservoir, two other locations that we already knew about in the map. So this location that we are seeing over here is actually a very central and important place in the game. So definitely interesting to see that here in the screenshot. And so there is another two pieces of concept art. Over here you can see this Lycan, so to say, and he looks indeed very menacing. And indeed, as you can see over here, he uses another tool. And then in the next piece of art, that is of Ethan, we can see him basically It's a very it's a piece of art that doesn't say a lot about Ethan, other than that he really is a little bit anonymous character, like also he was in Resident Evil 7. But nevertheless, this gun is also very interesting because this looks like a big fat magnum that he's holding over there. And we've come to the end of this video. And remember, in 2 days there will be a new Resident Evil showcase stream by Capcom, and we will stream that live on our channel. So be sure to be there in 2 days, April the 15th, when we will stream that showcase. And afterwards, of course, we will analyze what we have seen in that showcase. And possibly after that showcase, even more exciting, there will be a demo going live on multiple consoles, so we can definitely look forward to that. And with that said, I would like to thank you all for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.